Hi, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar titled To Find Out Why SX.e Users Are Moving to Infor CloudSuite Distribution. My name is Jared Gator. I'm a marketing coordinator here at Aktion Associates. But before we begin, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping notes. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see multiple widgets which you can move and resize to customize your viewing experience. For example, if you'd like, you can go ahead and enlarge the slide area by clicking the arrows in the right-hand corner. If you have any questions throughout the duration of the webcast, you can go ahead and submit those via the Q&A widget. We'll do our best to answer them during the webcast itself, but if fuller answers are needed, or if we run out of time, please note that we do capture all questions and will respond later via email. This webcast is being streamed through your computer, smartphone, or tablet, so there is no dial-in number. For the best audio quality, please make sure that your speakers or headset are turned on and volume is up. Some networks may cause the slides to advance a little bit more slowly than others. So if you're logged in via VPN, it's recommended to disconnect from that for the duration of the webcast. You can also try refreshing the page by pressing F5 on your keyboard if the slides are out of sync. We do encourage you to use the most current version of your browser to ensure that you have the most optimal experience today. You can also find additional answers to some of the common technical issues inside the Help widget located at the bottom of your screen in the On24 toolbar. And just a quick reminder that this webcast is being recorded and you will receive a link to the recording later this afternoon via email. With all that being said, though, I would like to go ahead and introduce you to our presenter today. So our presenter's name is Rob Dallas. He's a senior distribution solutions consultant. He has 25 plus years working with the Infor distribution products, including 12 plus of those years being with SX.e and CSD products. As far as the agenda is concerned for today, though, we're going to be talking about some distribution industry trends, followed by CSD, so CloudSuite Distribution versus SX.e, going into Infor distribution ERP solutions. We're going to be doing a demo for the majority of our time today, so it'll take up probably about a good 20 minutes or so of our time. Then after that, we're going to be going into the action difference, followed by the Q&A portions. The Q&A portion will save about the last 5 minutes or so of today's session for that. With all that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and advance the slide here and pass things over to Rob. So Rob, whenever you're ready, please feel free.
Thanks, Jared, and welcome everyone to today's webinar. I'd like to start off by just talking about why we got here. Distribution was disrupted. So 6, 7, 8 years ago, Infor realized that software was moving to the cloud. They needed a new browser UI. And there were many reasons for this disruption, and this slide kind of hits on some of them at a high level. They wanted an omni-channel sales experience, so no matter what the interaction or type of interaction, they wanted it to be similar across all aspects. They realized distributors were having to expand services, maybe due to competition with internet companies, e-giants, big box retailers, etc. We're always fighting margin erosion as distributors stay as lean as possible. And I think these last two are the biggies. Big data insight. We're all used to having this tremendous amount of data within the ERP. Well, how do we turn that into useful information? And then finally, the dynamic workforce, right? We have an aging workforce, and to be able to attract and retain these qualified individuals that grew up with technology, Infor realized that the distribution ERP that we all know and love, SX.e, needed to go through this transition. So keeping the great depth of distribution functionality, giving it a new user interface that's more intuitive, make users more efficient, but then also add this layer of technology and innovation surrounding the ERP. So what do you get included with a subscription to CloudSuite Distribution? Well, at the top here, you see the core capabilities that you would expect. So your sales processing, pricing, quoting, sales order, invoicing, your advanced inventory management, the buyer's demand centers, the new buyer's control, procurement, demand planning, forecasting, etc. Real-time accounting, proof of delivery is a new application that's included so we can get digital signatures right in the field, similar to a UPS delivery driver. Right? Maybe even take pictures of where you left it on the dock, let's say. But there are many optional capabilities or extended solutions that you may not have been aware that they were available at SX.e, and they've even added more now with CloudSuite Distribution. So it's as simple as licensing and implementing one of these extended solutions when the time arises when your business needs this additional functionality. WMS obviously is a big one if we want to go paperless in the warehouse. Project job management to manage jobs and to handle bidding. Configure price quote We need to design an item, pick different options, what then has a funnel effect down to what other options will be available based on previous selections, and then producing a finished item for those selections. Service and repair and rental. Infor CRM to manage opportunities and pipeline. And all of it sits in what's called the Infor OS, Infor Operating Services. Now, this is the technology stack, again, that's included with your subscription. And it has some nice functionality and capabilities built into it. There's a Coleman artificial intelligence application, workflows and alerts. So being able to define a best practice for your organization, what happens when an event occurs, who needs to be notified. And it's an actual true flow chart that you design. You can add multiple decision trees, you can have parallel tasks. And if one person resolves a task, then it's automatically removed from the others. Again, included. Document management, an onboard document management system. So now we can store things digitally. And there's a web part I'm going to show, so an object that's tied to CSD. So right at your fingertips when you're looking at an item or in an order, you have access to those digital files that today maybe you're putting in a metal file cabinet. And that takes time to go retrieve those files, to put them back. If somebody misplaces them, then obviously you're going hunting, etc. Another aspect are two things, one called business collaboration, which is Mingle. So the ability to message a coworker when you're in, let's say, looking at a purchase order. And instead of today, you're probably emailing, getting the email, jotting down the PO number, going into SX, looking it up, then going back to Outlook and responding. Now you can message from right within CSD. They receive the message along with a hyperlink. So as they read your message, they can click in and drill right into the entity in question, whether that be a PO, quote, sales order, item, etc. Also, advanced analytics. Infor has known for years that people were using outside tools to get true BI, business intelligence. So now you get included with your subscription a tool, but not only the tool, but predefined content. Over 125 different dashboards and reports that you can start accessing day one. And we'll take a look at some of those examples. Infor obviously is still the author or manufacturer of CSD. They've gone through some significant growth. If you weren't aware, now they are the third largest ERP company in the world. You can see their current microvertical expertise, their position. But I think what's important to take away from this slide is that they're leaders in innovation and technology. So not only are they continuing to add on the depth of functionality that SX.e had, and now the many releases of CSD, but they're also continuing to add technology and innovation. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump over. Let me share my screen. And toggle over to my browser. And now what you see here, as you probably notice, I'm on a MacBook Pro. Again, truly is device independent, whether it's a Windows device or an Apple iOS machine. Can be a desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphone. Think how many of you, if you're running SX.e, the client server, if you want to work from home, you have to remote desktop to a Windows terminal server and click on an icon, right? Well, that takes hardware, takes Microsoft licenses. Now, if we have internet access, whether it be cellular or Wi-Fi, you have access to your system. Okay? Browser doesn't really matter as long as you have one of the most current versions. They recommend a few, but again, I've tried multiple browsers and have never had an issue. After a user logs in, where they land is what's called the home page. Okay? And Infor provides many different widgets you can use to configure these home pages. The idea of a home page, or the benefit, is that it allows you to push information out to your employees, your users. Think of it as an internal intranet. So instead of relying on them to go run a report or to look at an inquiry, now we can push out that information that's important to their role. Because you can have these home pages for a unique individual, but typically they're role-based. Infor gives different templates for, let's say, a CSR homepage, a inventory homepage, a purchasing homepage, maybe an accounting homepage. You can start with their templates and then edit it. I've thrown one together here just to give you an idea of some of the different things we can do. At the top, I've got some videos, maybe announcements from executives, maybe training videos, new processes that we're implementing, maybe new functionality from a new release. Then in the next row here, I've got my alerts and tasks, again, automatically created based on business events occurring in the system. The post, so here's a widget accessing the mingle, right? There, you'll see there's something later in the system that notifies us, as well as a full-blown interface to mingle to see that messaging application. I like this widget. It's a what's new. So every third Saturday of the month now, you're getting a new update. And so now we can see, okay, what's coming in a July update. Maybe you want to go in and look at some of the new functionality that's being added. And then again, look at the nice new online help system, or reach out to your Aktion account manager and try to get some services, right? Schedule some services to implement the new functionality. On my next row here, I've got some entry functions, maybe some inquiries. Again, these are hot links. I can jump right to those functions right here from my homepage. Maybe some analytics that are important to your role. Maybe sales trends that we're following. Maybe fill rates for different locations. But let's say we're looking at our homepage and we have a message that says that a customer of ours, Northern Supply, has a question about a product, whether we have it available and what their pricing is, as well as maybe an open order quote, and then possibly placing an order. Well, let's go ahead and right here from the home page, you can jump into the pricing inquiry. And maybe you know the customer number that you could start entering, right, part of their digits, or you could just start entering part of their name, or a separate lookup name, or their address, or a phone number, or the contact's name. And the more you give it, it narrows down our search results. This is called an autocomplete or quick look. Same with the product lookup. You can start typing what you're looking for, whether it's part of the SKU number or part of a description or an extended description we'll talk about, and find the items that you need. So if there's, maybe I sell a lot of grills. So if I add additional verbiage, oops, I had the word built in. Right now at the top, this is similar to Google. So it's a relevancy search result. So I'm going to have the items that contain both words I'm looking for. And what I like about this is I even get to see items that I do have in my location, what I have available before even selecting an item. And let's say you have 80 different grills. Well, again, maybe we want to refine our search even more, and we can use this advanced lookup icon, click on it, and we're going to get populated a window here. Now we see some product images. You see description, quantity available. Here's that 256 character extended description, all of which is part of the searches and lookups. So again, attributes, dimensions, maybe even slang terms that your customers use to reference products. Let's put those in the extended description, and it'll help your users find items faster and easier. I'm going to go ahead and just select this grill. The first thing that's going to jump out at you is that there's a product, a photo, an image here right in the screen. Certain screens have images, but let's say you're somewhere where there's not an image, or you want to see the spec sheet associated with this item. Notice at the top right, these arrows. This is an example of that tech stack, some of the new technology that's been added. This opens up what are called web parts, right? And they're intelligent, dynamic web parts. What that means is they're monitoring what you're doing and then providing additional information. So again, if I wanted to look at notes, I could see notes related to a number of things. So I could see customer notes. Right? If I wanted to see activities, maybe follow-ups we have with this customer. Doc management. So I can see in this case, it's defaulting to the customer, and I just have a logo here. But if I wanted to see something related to the item, there's that image. I could look at the spec sheet. And right here from this web part, maybe I want to email it to the customer. And if I wanted to add new files here, I can browse out. I can drag and drop files onto this square and add additional content to the document management system. My tasks and alerts are always right here as well. So all of these web parts are always available. You can leave them expanded, but typically they're collapsed to give you additional real estate. But just remember, that's additional new information that's right at your fingertips. So again, here this is OEIP that you're all used to from SX.e. We have availability, list price. This is this customer's today price. Notice I personalized my screen to make this field green. I wanted it to jump out at me. So by individual user or by groups of users, if you have security to do so, you can rearrange screens and columns and grids, which I'll talk about. You can add new fields to screens. You can change colors. So you really can tailor the user experience. Let's say now they have a question about an order. So we want to go into OEIO. Right? You're all used to, like, I go down to the main sales menu here. A user only sees the functions you granted them security to access. So I could go into OEIO through the menu. We still have our access codes, or I can just start typing in part of what I'm trying to do. So again, you don't have to have the access codes memorized. It's great for new employees. Or I think the easiest way to navigate is with bookmarks, similar to our personal lives where we have single-click access to our favorite entertainment site, news site, or sports site. Well, let's do that with functions we use most frequently, and even having the ability to have submenus within these bookmarks. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into OEIO to order inquiry. I could enter in an order, look at recently visited, but all of the inquiries have this advanced search. And what's great about this is it really does let you tailor, again, the user experience. So you can see the 7 fields that I have enabled by default that I've saved. But what if we wanted to find, in this case, a sales document by any other number of fields? Again, maybe a date range, maybe by product, maybe by reference field, maybe by transaction type. And again, due to the underlying technology of the browser UI, it's just changing what I'm viewing, right? The UI itself, the browser itself. You can still have save searches as you're used to. I'm going to go ahead and just look by customer PO. Right? I get multiple hits here. Of course, I can scroll over any number of columns. Again, if we have a hyperlink, so in any column when you see a hyperlink, I could drill right into customer inquiry for this account. You have the ability to drill down. So if I want to go to this bottom order, click on this arrow, I can drill down into it. Now I can see an overview of this order. There's a nice new screen they added. I can see some visual representations, maybe of the margin or cost information. I can see the stage of the order, right, as it transitions through, maybe some other analytics of the type of lines. You can see header information, and then, of course, the body of the order. These are the new grids. You can sort by any column. You can rearrange the columns, as I mentioned, and you can control who can do that. All of them can still be exported to Excel like you're used to today, but this is new. You have the ability to turn on filtering within a grid. So maybe looking at a column, if I want to filter out the items that contain certain characters, or begins with, or does not contain. And so I could quickly filter out my tab extensions. So any column and any grid, you have this filtering capability. Okay. Let's say now back to our scenario, they're ready to place an order. So let's go jump into OET, order entry, to see what that looks like now. Okay. One thing to note, it's still the system remembers what you've been working with. Okay. It's going to be top of the list when I click on any field, called MRUs now, most recently used. Again, I can create a new order, maintain, edit an existing order, delete or cancel an order, or copy an order. So as you can see, none of the old SX functionality is gone. It's just a new UI. But in addition to that, there's a lot of new distribution functionality added to the core product, as well as this technology layer that I'm trying to give you some examples of. So if we go in to do an order, now order entry, it's an orientation left to right. So the header or banner information is over here on the left, product selections in the middle, and our shopping cart or footers over here on the right. Now, there are multiple ways to find products, and we can toggle between them, which we'll do, but you set your default preference. So every time you go into order entry, in this case, mine's set to easy entry. And I like this because it resembles a consumer-grade experience like Amazon. I get to see product images, short description, availability, this customer's today price, and if we get multiple hits, you actually can set the quantity for multiple items, and with one singular action, add multiple items to this order. Order entry is very fast. Right now, or at any point, you can hit finish and get out of the order. But let's say we want to do some more searching for items. Let's do shopping, which you're used to today. Again, similar functionality. I can drive off past sales, just the UI is different. And I will say when I went from GUI SX.e to browser, took me probably 3 to 5 working days to get used to it. then I couldn't go back. I was so much faster navigating in the browser interface. So here's again our shopping information, ton of information. We can rearrange the grids. We can do searching. You can do the filtering we talked about. You can set quantities for multiple items. And then again, with one singular action, we can add multiple lines to the order. Can still do shopping off promotional items, custom lists like you can today. Advanced entry, there's a quick entry that might be important to some of you. This is more of a, let's say for counter sale. No frills where we're just scanning SKUs, or somebody that knows a lot of SKUs by heart, or again, just less fields to get in the way, just much faster interface. And then of course we can add those lines. Advanced entry is going to look like what you're used to today. So if I go into advanced, I can do my stock, non-stock. Notice they cleaned up the screen. They've hidden a lot of fields under extended fields. That's one of their new philosophies, is to keep screens simple and clean. But if you need any of this information, you can pull it down into this main window as well. So again, you're tailoring the user experience to your preference to make you as efficient as possible in navigating CloudSuite Distribution. And of course, I can add, let's say I want to add a frame, and pick my SKU, and when I add this, it's been set up with accessories or companion items. So of course, I can go through and set my quantities. Okay, leave that one as 1. And now all 3 of those items are added to the order. Okay. Of course, I can look at my taxes and totals if I want. Different tax jurisdictions, different totals here at the bottom, or collect payment. Of course, multiple payments. If I want a deposit applied to the order, I can do so. Multiple payment types. So if I want to pay some by check, some by credit card, I can. Fully integrated credit card system that meets all the latest federal PCI requirements. So it's tokenized. So credit card information is not stored in your system. For our example, I'm just going to go ahead and finish and get out of the order. Just quickly here, I know I've got a few more minutes of things I want to show you. Let's jump in and take a quick look at some of the analytics that are included. So again, this little icon at the top allows me to toggle and jump between the different apps that are docked within the Infor OS. So we were just in the distribution module because that's how we use that shortcut on the home page to get there. But there's a full-blown analytics we're about to go in, the dock management system, the full-blown Mingle interface. Ion Desk is for workflows that you can define, Infor proof of delivery. Again, all of this is included with your subscription. So let's jump into analytics. As I mentioned earlier, you get the Burst subscription. Burst is included in your subscription, along with predefined content. Over 175 different dashboards and reports, by module here. So if I want to drill into sales, I can see some sales analysis information by month, maybe number of orders, how are we trending current year versus previous year, maybe sales by sales manager, how are we trending sales dollars this year versus previous year. You can highlight an entity on the home page and it actually adds a filter. Right? So now we just have Bill Barnes information, or you could go up to the filtering icon and add any other number of filters that you may want. Because maybe we want to see this by product line. I think KPIs here on the left, you determine or set when they go red, yellow, green. Again, a ton of different predefined content that's included, but they're connected, so you can drill across to the dashboard. So I could drill in and now look at a sales analysis summary and see the top 10 performers by sales, or by margin percent, or by profit. Or if I want to see it by product category, again, or by vendor. So again, I can toggle between the information that's being provided. Like maybe I want to look at a customer scorecard analysis. Right? This is an example of a table or a report, as well as KPIs and visual representations. And then of course I can drill down even further and look at a customer scorecard. So this is all the information you're used to having in SX.e. Now we just have it on one dashboard called a customer scorecard. Okay. Again, similar in, let's say, the purchasing side. I have some analysis. Maybe I want to drill in and look at fill rates. How are vendors servicing us? So again, these are just a few examples of some of the predefined content. Over 125 out of the box, and Infor continuing to add additional dashboards and reports, additional content. Okay. With that, let me go back to the PowerPoint. I've got a few more slides, and then I want to leave a few minutes for questions. So in summary, Infor is very distribution focused. This is their flagship distribution product going forward. So they're investing all their dollars in not only additional distribution functionality, but also in innovation and technology. Again, just quickly a little bit about Aktion. We've gone through some growth. We are now Infor's largest North American partner, 25-year running gold partner. We have a leadership position with Infor's product direction team. You can see the key industries we support, expertise in distribution like manufacturing, warehousing, CRM, and e-commerce. Over 220 employees across the country, offering full support from 8 a.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Pacific. You may recognize some of the logos on this slide. I just want to discuss that CSD is very scalable. It's designed for larger distributors, right? But of course, it can handle smaller, simpler distributors. But some of these companies are 40, 50 locations, hundreds of employees processing thousands of orders a day. And CSD is built to handle that. Not only in Aktion do we support your distribution ERP, but we also offer many other IT offerings. So if you weren't familiar with this, again, your account manager is going to be following up with you. So discuss these options with them. Maybe there's other ways that we can assist your company. All right, Jared, I tried to save a few minutes. Did we have any questions come up?
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Doesn't look like I see any questions at this time. If anybody does have any questions, though, please feel free to ask them now. Let me see if I have one coming right now. As soon as I said that, Rob, we had one come in.
All right.
So first question I see in here for you is, how does CSD handle vendor managed inventory?
It handles it well. There's some additional new functionality. I think we want to take this offline. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but there's different ways we can do that with virtual warehouses. And we actually have some other outside modules that are optional now, Storeroom and some others that we want to discuss. So I would make sure whoever asks that, their account manager, will dig in and have that discussion with them. But it's very good at handling vendor managed inventory.
Awesome. So Danny, that'll be included on the email follow-up then, okay? Is there any other questions? It's not looking like I see any questions. While we wait for more questions, though, I'm going to go ahead and advance the slide forward here. So what I just pushed here for you guys is going to be talking about what's called the CSD Feature Video Library. That's a landing page that's available for you. So if you actually go over to your engagement tools and you look inside where the related content is, inside that widget, I went ahead and highlighted it now for you. So inside there, if you click that link, it's going to take you to this landing page where we have about 15, 16 videos up there that are called snackable videos. So they're 3 to 5 minute short videos that talk about a specific feature of CloudSuite Distribution. So you can learn a lot in a little tiny bits over time. So those are all available for you to be able to watch at any time at your convenience. So those are available for you along with the slide deck and then the 5 reasons why you may want to consider moving to CSD as well. So all that information is there, readily available for you. Let me go ahead. I want to check the Q&A one last time here. Let's see if we had any other questions come in. All right. Rob, it's not looking like I see any other questions. Do you have any final remarks for us?
No, just thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, this is just a quick look at the new UI and the technology that's been added. As I mentioned, all the distribution functionality that you're used to is still there, along with new functionality and this new technology. So hopefully we can spend some more time together and give you a better look of what CSD can offer.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob, and thank you, everybody, for attending. We really hope that you found value in it, and have a great rest of your days. Take care.
Thank you.